launched by the government of India, in fact relaunched by the government of India in March 2018 by Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. Anemia Mukt Bharat aims to reduce anemia prevalence by 3 percentage points per year amongst children, adolescents and women of reproductive age 15 to 49 years. About the strategy, about the beneficiaries, we have experts who are going to talk about it. I'll come to Dr. Kapil Yadav first, but to talk about the interventions, just to highlight the interventions, we have the points of interventions are prophylactic iron and folic acid supplementation, deworming, intensified year-round behavior change communication, which is one of the most important factors, testing and treatment of anemia with focus on pregnant women and school-going adults. This is one of the key issues which we want to highlight in our today's program around Unite, the e-summit titled Unite to Eradicate Anemia or Control Anemia, for which this e-summit is designed today. Then mandatory provision of iron, folic and acid fortified foods in government funded health programs, intensifying awareness, screening and treatment of non-nutrition causes of anemia in epidemic pockets with special focus on malaria. Key instrumental person since this program was designed, and your center became the nodal center for this program, and you are the nodal person for this program, who nobody knows better about this program and how we are progressing, how it was conceptualized, what was the objective, how we are progressing in today's scenario. Because anemia, I have been seeing for last 20 years or more than that, has been a point of discussion. That is anemia control, anemia eradication. Eradication may not be the right word, control is one of the perfect words to say. But we have probably, unfortunately, not achieved that much what we should have achieved in anemia control and eradication. So, Dr. Kapil, with your experience and your involvement in almost all the policy making and implementation of the program since last 2 years, please do share your experience and the key highlights about the progress of the program today. Dr. Kapil, over to you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Swadeep. As you rightly said, this is one of the seminal flagship programs in public health nutrition of Government of India, and rightly so, because anemia and especially iron deficiency anemia continues to be the single most important micronutrient deficiency globally and more so in India. So taking that into cognizance, Government of India launched a very ambitious program in April 2018 with the mandate of reducing anemia by 3% annually. And for that, we had a very remarkable strategy, which can be abbreviated as 6x6x6 strategy. And over the last 2 years, I think we have made remarkable progress as far as anemia program implementation is concerned, because there have been a very high level political commitment around anemia. So it had been there since 1972, but they were not implemented in the scale that Anemia Mukt Bharat has envisaged. And Government of India not only had policy and program commitment, but also gave significant amount of resources to this program. So in brief period of 2 years, there has been a paradigm shift as far as we looked at anemia as a problem. And I just like to highlight 2 or 3 critical interventions that Government of India endorsed as far as anemia is concerned. And one of them happens to be the point of care diagnostics. For the first time, India moved away from a clinical physician-based diagnosis of anemia to a more objective diagnostic test. And that was a huge shift as far as the program was concerned. And there have been remarkable success as far as this component is concerned. Many of the states have gone ahead and adopted it, and in this a particular experiment of test, treat and talk campaigns, which were launched across India in Poshan Maah, have been hugely successful. And the second intervention that I would like to highlight was endorsement of food fortification as a strategy by Anemia Mukt Bharat. And we know we have a lot of success stories available as far as food fortification is concerned, globally as well as in India. Universal sterilization has been a huge success, but in anemia, we had not been talking about food fortification, and for the first time, Government of India, especially the Health Department, endorsed food fortification as a strategy. Unfortunately, we have not been able to translate that much into program, but last 6 months there have been some very positive indication, and rice fortification has taken up. Double fortified salt, in which iron is an important component, is being currently rolled out in 2 or 3 states. So I am hopeful that this strategy would take more stream as we move ahead. Lastly, I just close my comments with a brief introduction to another third important intervention or strategy, which I think could be quote unquote the magic bullet or paradigm shifting for anemia, and that is the parenteral iron for women of reproductive age group, particularly the pregnant and lactating mother. And we had a very good meeting with Foxy. Dr. Hema Divakar is here. So that intervention could also help us in moving ahead rapidly as far as anemia control or anemia elimination is concerned.
And आपका involvement nutrition related interventions, malnutrition में आपका जो रहा है, particularly in your earlier tenure as which is very famous tenure of yours as the district magistrate of Bada district, and in your current role in the associated with NHM in the largest state of the country, Uttar Pradesh. Sir, please throw some light on that.
Actually, so I came to know 6 by 6 by 6. Okay, but one thing I would like to tell you, there is a Seema Modi. She is the wife of a IPS officer. She is working to create awareness in Anemia Mukt Bharat. So I called her in Bada to generate awareness in schools, and at that point of time I also went and attended one event, and thereafter she did 2 or 3 events. So when I got your invitation, I connected to that event. That is very important thing. By the way, right now I am serving in the National Health Mission, and this responsibility at state level we are shouldering in UP, and you know UP is the 4th largest country of the world. So anemia is, as per my own experience, I may be wrong, is not a sensitive issue or not a priority in the districts. So how to make it? Almost there is a 70 programs and projects of the medical health department, the highest number at district level. And all these 70 programs, projects, we need to sell to the public as a social marketeer, as a district magistrate, or as a president of district health society to the all publics. But unfortunately, it is not in the priority list. So we will have to find out why it is not in the priority list. We need to find it out, and we need to provide its solution. And if that will be done, certainly people will follow the norms. And in every program, there is some problems, and it is going all along with the problems. That is not the issue. We are not sensitized for this program. That is the big issue in my opinion. One thing. Second thing I would like to say, right now we are having a startup in medical field. So I would like to request to have the startups in this program, and these startups should be supported by financially and otherwise whatever is required at district level. So if you start up this program under the district magistrate and some foundation to help the startup.
So as we all know that nutrition, malnutrition, nutrition supplementation, these are one of the most important aspects of anemia control. And the cause of anemia as well as the supplementation is one of the biggest contributor to the control and eradication of anemia. And please throw your view on this.
Thank you, Sudeep. And being a nutritionist, I can say a diet plan for anemia needs to include a very healthy, balanced diet which is rich in iron-rich food. That is leafy vegetable, all types of breakfast cereal. It should be with fortified with different iron contents, and also how to one thing is how to improve the absorption of iron and avoid food stops through the that is what foods, what to take, what not to take, how to avoid those fatty food, those with non-consumptionable food, stale food like this. But certain amount of soya bean, fruits, pumpkin seeds, and spinach, jaggery, cereals, especially it is good with calcium and very much with iron is ragi. We can take ragi and legumes, different types, dals, legume means dal, and also we should cook the vessel which is made of iron ki kadai mein, because that is a traditional practice. And now also jaggery always in cold season also we used to take, that is abundance and full with iron. Peanut butter, and also folate replace the different type folate replacement therapy where B12 and folate can be replaced. B12 is for megaloblastic anemia, and this can be supplement. With this we can have juice, that is because sometimes if fruits are not taken, beet juice and also different green spinach juice and different types of you can herbal juice, lemon ginger juice. It is full and rich with different iron rich thing. And the main anemia control strategies we can take: iron supplementation, that is daily and weekly, that is it will be continued for at least for 3 months, because iron content and 30% of the population is now suffering from anemia throughout the population.
After maternal health and going in deep, we used to get a number of maternal deaths where the indirect cause was anemia. So while reviewing it, we started backtracking, going to the field level. The first thing we came to know that there was no device who could measure the accurate hemoglobin during screening process, because the color scale was very subjective, and the hemoglobin meter, the Thales one was it was a clumsy instrument. Half of the time the pipette was broken or the HCl was not there. So first we thought of taking taking some provision in the PIP so that we can have a correct estimation of hemoglobin at field level. And thanks to the guidelines of Anemia Mukt Bharat, where digital provided digital hemoglobinometer in our HWC, it's in the process, and soon it will be available with all this thing, so that we can have a correct estimation of hemoglobin. Then comes, once the women is anemic, then how to go about. We talk about supplementation of IFA in health department and deworming. These are the two interventions which we are implementing and following it. But it is a Herculean task to ensure consumption of IFA. Previously it was for 100 days, now it is for 6 months in the antenatal period, 6 months in the postnatal period. How to monitor it is a bit difficult. It just depends upon the IPC, how the CHO and the ASHA is oriented about.
Outside, I'd like to ask, because in the chat box there are a lot of debates that one of the problems why anemia does not get focused is because it does not lead to direct cause of death. So what do you have to say about it? That's why it's not being sensitized. And second aspect is, schools are one of the areas where you have to give this food fortification. But since schools are not functioning, they're closed, what is the status of the program now?
so far as the question number 1 which you are having, like how the anemia program, especially the mainstreaming of this anemia program in the community, and the role of system like service providers, especially the frontline service providers, is very, very important. And based on our assessment, we have observed that the counseling part that needs lots of strengthening, and the counseling, especially the counseling, because the frontline workers, they are in touch with the rural community, and especially with the women, but the decision making at community level, at household level, I think it's very, very important to learn that who is taking decision, and the male engagement is very, very important here. And what I felt that interpersonal communication, which is very important by the service providers, like how they are convincing the mothers as well as the male engagement, the family members and the community. So this is one of the areas I feel like needs strengthening, because we are dealing with very important aspects, and the NFHS 5, the data which has come, is clearly saying that we haven't the data from NFHS 5. It clearly reveals that importance of nutrition, especially anemia, than ever before, as the nutrition indicators have not fared well. So it's a kind of, we understand that the data also says that the contacts have been improved. As a public health professional, I'm very happy to see that contacts have been improved. Because of that, the institutional birth, the immunization, the antenatal checkup, pre-antenatal checkups, the postnatal checkups, that has been improved.
After the data that has come out, and it is quite alarming, I think we need to be, as somebody has suggested in the chat box, that we need to sensitize even the teachers in schools, especially in the rural areas, on the importance of this. So we come to the next speaker, Ms. Deepti Gulati, Head of Programs, Global Alliance for Improved Nutrition Gain. I would like to start off with what Dr. Sujit Ranjan left. Your take on the NHS data, what exactly have you to say on this?
I have also seen NFHS 5 data, but to be very honest, I'm not surprised. Why I'm not surprised is because the data, the duration or the time during which NFHS 5 data has been collected in many states, COVID has already set in, and it was the early years when the system strengthening was also not there. So it is quite likely that it would show up very differently from what we had expected had COVID not been there. So I think it's a big lesson learned that food does make a lot of difference. We need to invest in proper nutrition, proper food, growth and development of children. And we have to be ready for, eventualities like COVID, because it got us much unaware. So from that perspective, I feel that, God forbid, if there was anything even remotely similar to COVID, we would be much better prepared now.
So before we start this, how to eradicate the anemia, the main important thing is the screening, the test, and it's also linked with the prophylaxis, prevention and treatment. When all the cycle, screening, prophylaxis, prevention, treatment is continuously ongoing, then we really prevent the anemia or eradicate the anemia. When we say the action for the anemia, the first is the screening, again then the treatment and prophylaxis and prevention. The action for the anemia control, the management start from to the end. Start means the screening is very important. How you know that this is the anemia and the test is qualitatively or not. Because if the screening test is not qualitative, then again it's the false positive or false negative report is coming, and we are false anemia is not there or there. So the important thing is, one is the important test of the anemia screening that related to the clinical signs. We see the conjunctiva, tongue, lips, nail and palm. If they are the pale, just like I already say कि पहले काले थे फिर गोरे हो गए, तो focus on that that their nutrition is good or not. After that, if the nutrition is good, then it's okay. But if the nutrition is not good, then you check the anemias. The screening with the clinical signs turn out by subjective scale with the mild to moderate. The clinical assessment need to support with the hemoglobin estimations, and national anemia controls and prevention program protocol based on the hemoglobin level, but may further investigation and hemoglobinopathies. And the value, the clinical sign is very important, but it's not a qualitative and not a standard operation procedure is there. The second important is the Saley's method. But the Saley's method is also important thing is the procedures, the training of the staffs, how to pick, how to intact the tip of the fingers, and the solution of the SCLs. And that's why this test, the quality control of the HV testing is the major challenge when you diagnose the hemoglobins. The again important test is the paper-based color comparisons. This method was used with the national programs at the field levels because it's very easy methods, but need color comparator and expressive filter paper. That's the logistic ID to be managed. It's very important. Pick quality is important is the technical source, and keep broad estimated. It just give the broad estimated. It's not accurate, but it give the broad estimated. The main the operational similar to the manage of the anemia to community levels. It's very important. But for the community level screening is important by the qualitative test and with the standard operation procedures. At the PSC CSC levels is also very important. The screening of the anemia beneficiaries, like the methods the general recommended for the use of the anemia survey, especially the provided use of the enables workflow efficiencies and good support for the primary to tertiary care OPDs. When the you really eradicate the anemia, then we need the good support from the primary to tertiary levels and use for the community level services, especially for the screening test. At the tertiary level, the instrument equipment is also very important. Standard operation procedure is also required. The continuous AMC, CMC is also required, and then you diagnose the proper anemias. The important, what is the matter for the screening is very important. The screening of the anemia needs a serious consideration as per the protocol in the public and private systems. The quality screening matter and should not be considered. And at field community level, the screening is for the broad cutoff for the prevention management, and at the PSC onward, screening and prevention control is the main important for the treatment part of things. And the double test protocols with the hemoglobin testing and management should be a part of the standard operation procedure if you really eradicate the anemia. In the Ayushman Bharat, the anemia package is also there. The important things in the Ayushman Bharat, that in the Ayushman Bharat, we also see that number of the package in the Ayushman Bharat is there, and especially the treatment in the anemia in Ayushman Bharat, the female is much more than the male. You see the female, it's about male is 41,000, but female is 96,000, and the amount is spent about 21 crore for the male and 31 crores for the females. So especially when we see the total 1.37 lakhs admission is there in the anemia package, and about 58 crores amounts is spent by the beneficiaries.
Dr. Hema, I think I have asked the questions. If you want me to re-emphasize the questions, I will do that one. One is how effective have these point of care devices been, and second thing is what are the challenges that you have been facing in using these point of care devices, and how would they help in empowering the women per se, that and especially while integrating the testing device and the digital network. Over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Siva, because these are very pertinent and very significantly important questions, especially in our country, given the scale and the difficulty of reach. So the challenges prior to the availability of point of care were huge, because the skills that are required and the access that is required and the action that is required post that and the documentation, everything was quite a hassle. And I must say that we were constantly in the quest of point of care but which is doable. See, now every airport you'll see that pregnancy test, which is a big advertisement there, and almost every woman, how can it help women is what you ask. When they do the point of care pregnancy test at home, that is such a simple thing. So as how the time evolves, many of these, many times monitoring and many places monitoring which we have to do, it will get collaged, and I always believe that the digital and the healthcare should marry each other, because that potential has to be totally and thoroughly exploited. As on today, many people will say, oh, the digital is not accessible to many, but I must say that the COVID pandemic has given a boost to this. So those who could not convert their mind into that are now compelled to convert, and they are already experiencing the richness of the reach with this. Having said that, the three different things, the Asian Research and Training Institute for skill transfer. Skill transfer has been so easy with the point of care because it requires minimal skills, because the equipment and the technology does most of it. The cradle BP apparatus, for example, it's like a traffic signal system. If it is red, the healthcare provider knows, even if she's an idiot, she knows. Whereas the simple thing of measuring the BP with the mercury sphygmomanometer, you can never guarantee that the sister is doing it properly, and somebody else has to come and double check, and so many cases are missed because of misdiagnosis. So that is the BP. The sugars, yes, now from Israel we are importing one Visme, which is a wristband, continual glucose monitoring without a prick. Even the digital hemoglobinometer, which Archana Mishra mentioned, even the permission for a prick, even in the school children or camp situation or the asepsis, nothing need to be there. It is seamlessly, it can be done in a non-invasive way, so that is a boon. And as the time goes by, the digital wearable technologies where the patient or the women herself, the girls and the women herself automatically can give us back the digital messages on which we can revert back to them on the chat option or the video call or any which way that we can reach to them, and the accessibility is also completely engulfed into the opportunity that we have from point of care. But the validation and the appropriateness of the use of this, not so greatly challenging, but it needs to be done, because we can't all the time have false alarms create a panic in the public. So that one caution, if we take better and better devices, more and more opportunities that the technology can move the healthcare forward, and in keeping with the SDG goals of universal healthcare, I think both for advocacy, that is the talking, both for teaching and training, and also for testing, all encompassing, I still think that one of the best ways forward to amplify our efforts will be the digital technology and point of care.
Questions to you. As we stated earlier, the initiative is to use the point of care testing and use hemoglobinometers. My question is, how effective has the government been implementing the strategy of using the hemoglobinometer, which is a point of care device, and other similar devices in monitoring and taking action to reduce the anemia cases? This is the first question. The second question is, can you throw some light on which of the states in India who have been able to effectively use these technologies and have been role models for other states to follow? So these are the two questions that I initially have. I would appreciate getting an answer from you.
Yes, so thank you for inviting me here, and of course the benefit of speaking after so many learned panelists is that a lot of the important things have already been said, but I'll try to add on to this from my policy perspective. I think one thing, of course, is very important. We are talking about technology, but it is important to, of course, keep in mind that the operator as well as the beneficiary of the technology is always a human being. So we cannot, let go of those aspects, and that is perhaps also why some of our technology efforts, this is not just in the case of anemia, but also we are trying to use technology in a big way in general, whether it's in Poshan Abhiyan or it's in nutrition, in health, etc. Often these efforts are not as successful because we somewhere miss out on the human interface. Are these devices easy enough for the people who need to use them? Are they easy enough to then, sort of enter the data? Where does that data go? Who makes use of that data? So I think all these are questions that I think still in the government system, we need to get better at linking the technology part with the human interface, both, as I said, at the user end as well as at the beneficiary end. Because, I often speak to a lot of frontline health workers, and they say, we use these devices, but sometimes we don't know what exactly is going on. We feed the data, but we don't know what happens to that data. Who uses that data? Who reviews that data? Who makes decisions based on what we feed in? So I think it's very important, and this is something that I try to emphasize in the work I do, and in general in NITI Aayog, that yes, we need better technology, we need smarter technologies, we need more effective technologies, which can of course be scaled up. As was mentioned, scale is our biggest challenge. And also which can be used in very diverse settings, because India, of course, our temperature is very variable, our geography is very variable. So any technology needs to be durable enough to be used across these different settings. So of course, the technology aspect is very important. And the easier it is to use, the more accurate it is, the less we will have to do additional tests to, validate the results, etc. And it will enable quick decision making. But we must also, along with it, focus on this human interface. And I think the states that, as you said, which states can be role models, I think that's a very strong word to use. So I don't know if I would call any of the states role models, but yes, there are plenty of examples where technology has been used well, it's been integrated well. But generally we see that those are states which also have an overall well-functioning system in health, in nutrition. For instance, Karnataka is one example that comes to mind, and you would see that in the recent NFHS, well, most of the states don't have very promising results, at least based on what we've seen so far. Karnataka at least has reasonably decent results on the nutrition side. And one thing in Karnataka that happens is a very strong integration between health and nutrition. Their health and nutrition systems are well integrated. So what I'm trying to say is that technologies don't operate in sort of their own kind of silo or in their own space. They must be well integrated with the overall ecosystem. Only then will we see the kind of results that we hope to see. So I think that is where in the government, yes, we've embraced technology in a big way, and the COVID-19 pandemic has of course pushed us along further. And that is a positive. But we must continue to focus on how those technologies get used, how they are perceived, whether they are locally, acceptable, relevant. All of those questions, I think we really need to address, and that is what we try to do in our, engagement with the ministries, with the states. That yes, you have this fantastic new technology, and by all means you should use it. But make sure that you link it up with the overall system and also with the the human beings involved in it from end to end.